The train may not leave until Saturday. It may not leave until 3 in the morning. But that doesn't mean that the journey hasn't already began. And for you, your journey has begun already as well. And today is the day that we add momentum to that travel and make the difference in this world that only you can make. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 41 books now and counting. Still getting used to saying that, but that's so cool. And, over the course of the last 40 years in business, the course of the last 59 years, my whole life, yes, literally, I've spent that time being visible and valuable in the media, helping people, doing the things in this world that only I can do to help you do the things in this world that only you can do. You have a powerful voice, a powerful message. You have things that you need to share into this world. And just like all those that have gone before you, the 5,000 plus people that I've had the wonderful privilege of working with, the one that I'm looking forward to the most is the next one, is you. I'm here to help you out, to show you absolutely and exactly the who that is you that makes you be and do all the things that you're meant to do in this world. Show up powerfully and be exactly who you were meant to be. So let's jump right into it. Many of you know next week I will be in Provo, Utah. Want to come join me? I could talk to you about how you can get there. Might even be willing to give you a free ticket. Would you like to show up in Provo at the event? I'd love to have you. Please drop a comment if you want to come to the event in Provo. It's the 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's next week already. Oh my gosh. On the one hand, I'm so excited I want to leave right now. And on the other hand, it's like, so many things to do. And both of those are mutually true at the exact same time. You see, whenever we go on a trip, and I love this analogy because all of us have gone on a trip, long or small. Whenever we go on a trip, there is that actual trip part of it. Okay. But there's all the prep time and all the travel time and all of that kind of stuff. So think about it. Okay. Typically speaking, and I'm taking a train, and that's cool too. Typically speaking, if you're going to buy a plane ticket, they suggest to you that you buy it 21 days in advance. Not saying you couldn't buy a same day plane ticket as long as you buy it before the plane leaves, obviously. But it's going to be more expensive. We plan those things out. We need time off work. We need people to cover the stuff that's going on. We need all of these things handled while we're gone. In my case, there's Mocha and mom and my brother take really good care of him. And, she runs their lives anyway. So her life won't be too much different, but you got to think about those kind of things. And before, when it was just her and I would have had to book her into, some kind of like dog retreat, dog spa, I like those better than the ones that are just kennels where they just stick her in a box for the next 2 weeks. That would not have been cool at all for her. But there's all those kind of things. And if you have kids, you got to figure out, school schedules or, get the work either ahead or you got to figure out how you're going to get caught up afterwards. Or you got to take work with you. Those kind of things, all of those come into way before we actually then, get in the car, get on the plane, get in the train, get in the bus, whatever that might be. And so that's all the preparation. That doesn't mean that you're not already in motion. That doesn't mean you're not already in movement, which is, of course, where momentum is going to come from. And then if you're talking about, like in this particular case, I'm speaking from stage, you've got to know, what am I talking about? What is the event for and what's going to serve that event the best? Do I need a PowerPoint presentation? Like, for example, with this one, I put together a new PowerPoint presentation, and some of you that were, on my stream, or if you want to go see it, it was last Saturday. I did a practice of it. Wasn't perfect, wasn't all that will be there live, but it was good to do it live. And I have done and will probably a couple more times not live do a run through of it again. And I may even do one more once I get to Provo. I'm going to get there a couple of days early because for me, I've learned the power behind also having a day or two or even a couple of days to rest before the event. There's the go, 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 go of all the travel. And I don't care how cool the travel is. I love taking the trains. Hey, Elizabeth, glad to have you here with us. I love taking the train. It's like the best of everything. I mean, when you're on the plane, it's obviously the fastest, but, there isn't really a whole lot to see. And planes, especially these days, have become very uncomfortable. They got the little tiny bathrooms that I don't know who they're made for. Your birthday is 2 months, as in you celebrate it for 2 months, or it's 2 months from now. Either way, and that's would be another perfect example. But, so I love the train because you get to see all the sights and you get to see all the stuff. And it's kind of like driving it, but you don't have to do any of the driving, and you get to enjoy all of, all of the stuff. Yeah, Elizabeth, it's cool when it jumps from, one or two people all the way up to 18 or 20. Or yesterday, I actually saw 50. It was kind of cool for just a second. Yeah, that's really cool to watch the numbers on the live. So, like I said, I like the train travel. However, if I were to drive from here to Provo, not including all of the stops and the fact that a 14-hour drive might be more than I want to take on all in one hop. And of course, you then got the whole Rocky Mountains that I'd have to cross, which is not really exciting anytime, but especially not this time of year, because you never know. I mean, you could run into beautiful weather. You could run into an absolute blizzard. It's just the nature of it. You could do that in about 14 hours. Of course, flying. Now, flying is a little different from where I live because, it's going to be, well, I could go to the one little regional airport, which only flies from there to Denver. And that's about an hour drive away. Or I could go to the little bit bigger airport. It's about 2 hours away. Or I could go all the way to Kansas City, which is about 3 hours away. So flying also isn't necessarily as convenient. But, flying, you get there in about 2 hours. Like I said, driving, you can get there in about 14, and the train's going to take about 20. So it's a little bit longer because it has to stop and pick people up. It's not just mine and mine alone, and they just take me directly. Wouldn't that be cool? But it's also so beautiful. There's going to be about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 hours where you're just riding alongside of the Colorado River. So beautiful. I'll take some pictures and show you guys again, and we'll probably even go live from the train on Sunday again, like we did last time when we were traveling. It's a lot of fun, but once you do all the prep stuff, so first you have to say yes to the event, and then you have to know what you're going to talk about, and then you plan your talk, and you get your slideshow, and all those things we were talking about. And then you've got to do what I started doing yesterday, and I think I massively way overpacked. I'm still questioning whether I want to just take all this stuff and have tons of options, or whether I'm going to cut back my luggage. Haven't decided yet. I know that's first world problems if you've ever heard of one, right? But you start packing and you're making yourself a list of the things that you can't really pack, like your toothbrush and your brush and things like that. You can't really pack those until the day of, and then whatever time that day you're going to leave, you leave. And whether you're 5 minutes to the place you're going to leave from, or like I said, if you're going to drive and you are hopping in the car, there is that transportation time, right? And all of that to get you there. And then you get checked in and all of those kind of things. There's so many things, and none of those are specifically the moment that the person introduces you and you walk up on stage. I'm so blessed because my good friend Mark Pogue, his song Money Can't Buy, which was originally actually on his restoration CD, and then he re-released it. The version that I use is actually the re-release from his Through the Fire album. Um, and I'm so blessed that he allowed me to be able to use that as intro music to my radio show, which I now also am using when I step out on stage. It's very motivational. I absolutely love this song. Um, but long before they give you the intro, and the downbeat drops and the music comes on, and you walk up the stairs and you have those questioning moments of, oh, don't trip down the stairs, all those kind of things. Long before any of that is all of the other things that come into place. The same is true when it comes to our clients. Long before you get on the phone with somebody who's interested, curious, maybe even ready to buy what you've got all of that preparation. You've got all this momentum you need to build up. You need to know who you are. You need to know who they are. You need to have a plan in place. And then there's also the other side to it. There's the fulfillment. Okay, you get on this phone, this person says, I absolutely like it. How much is it? Oh, well, I don't know. I haven't given it a price yet. Let's call it, And I've learned this from experience. It's important to take the time and go through. Hey, Aaron, glad to have you here with us. It's important to take the time and go through and really know what your costs are and your time involvement and what is your time worth. All of those pieces come into play so that you have a price that you can say, yeah, it's X amount. And then the people are like, okay, I'm learning, and I'm still not sure what I feel on this, but I'm learning from some research that I've been doing and some people that I've been talking to, that it's very possible that all along, like from day one that I've been doing books, not my whole entire life in business, but the last 20 years that we've been doing books, that my price, even though I wanted to make it approachable for everybody, that the lower price in the market, and yeah, I've got people that have price competed and are way cheaper than me now, but that price may have actually detracted from getting the right customers, because it may have been a signal that, maybe this isn't the quality and the level of service. Maybe this person isn't really the expert they're saying they are. If other people are charging this much and they're only charging this much, what does that mean? And there's all those kind of nuances that are in there. All of these come together before you ever have that conversation. And then you talk to the person and they say yes. And then you confidently can say, well, okay, it's this much. Do you want to, how do you want to pay for it? Or do you want to do this or this, or whatever your different methodologies are. I mean, are you going to use PayPal, which has some ups, also has some downs? Judy, so glad that you're here with us. Good to see you. How you doing today? And how's that little baby doing? We can't talk to Judy too much because the baby will totally say, no, Mom, you're not allowed to talk to people other than me. Isn't that the best part of babies, is it's not that they think they run the whole world. It's that they absolutely do. I love it when they're that age. So you've really got to know all of those different things. All of those come into place so that when you then are on with that client, you can say confidently, it's this much. Like I was saying before, you may want a merchant processor, you may want PayPal. There's lots of things like Affirm and Klarna and things like that can allow people, even people with lower end credit, to be able to get payment options. Do you have a product that you could offer payment options? And I have, I have a couple of companies that I work with now that will work with people with all kinds of different levels. I'm glad the baby's doing good. And yes, she absolutely does run all of our lives now. She's totally in control of the whole universe. And she knows it. The only person that competes with it at all in the whole world is Mocha. And the baby and Mocha, they would just love each other. But, they both are the center of the universe and they know it. So you got to walk through all these kind of things to really truly be at a place where then when you step out on that stage, when you're like, I'm here, you got to also work through that piece of that momentary centering yourself before you go out on the stage. Those butterflies are good. Those moments where you stop and you're like, okay, I'm here for a purpose. And the purpose isn't I want to try to get as much money out of these people as I can. Some people I know that's their purpose, but that's really not where we're at. The purpose is how can I serve these people? How can I move myself out from the spotlight, even though you do need to be in the spotlight. I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but you'll follow what I'm saying here. You want it to be about them. You want to reach out to them with their words, with your words, so that they can find their words, so that they can see and hear and know what they need to get out of it. You work through all of that. And then, like I said, then, you're on stage, you've got the mic, you're ready, and you can get in the flow. And the flip side to that is that momentum continues then too. You're talking and you do, just like you've seen me do a couple of times, you mess up your words. That's okay. Just keep going. Everybody messes up their words. I know we hear people, we see people like Tony Robbins and people like that. And, the fun one is when you watch things like Oprah or other television shows, and they seem absolutely perfect. There are no faux pas. There are no ands and ums. Well, if you had several, up to hundreds of people that are your production people, your mic people, your sound and video and all of those kind of things, you could probably come off a lot better. That's one of the things that I love about, having been in a music studio is if you hear somebody mess up in the middle of a recorded song, I'm not talking about live, I'm talking about a recorded song, that's really a problem with their technicians, because you can be totally perfect in recording. You can take out all those kind of things. But none of that has to do with momentum. Your momentum is when you do those human things, you just move on. You just allow yourself to be raw and real and vulnerable and valuable and put yourself out there. Because here's the thing that I want you to understand. You're already in motion. Now, for some, you're moving not in the direction you should be going. For others, you're spinning around in circles because you don't really know where you should be going. And for most of us, you're headed towards something. You may need more clarity, more definition in that. You may need to know where you need to drive to get to the train, to get on the tracks. And if that's you, or if you're not sure if that's you, let's talk. Drop the word on track into the comments. Send me a DM, whichever's easier for you. And let's talk about where is the track? What does on track look like for you? And how can you take the motion, the momentum that you're already in, how can you turn that into massive, on fire momentum, impact in the world, make the difference that only you can make in this world? I'm so excited to hear about that with you, to talk in more detail with you. Because one last thing on my train analogy, trains don't rush. They go exactly at their speed. They show up at each station at or near the time that they're supposed to, and then they leave at or near the time they're supposed to. But they move with intention. The train that goes from Chicago all the way to Sacramento, which is the one that I'll be getting on, it doesn't go like to Lincoln, Nebraska, and then be like, oh, I better go back to Chicago now. I know there's all those other stops all the rest of the way across the United States, but I just don't feel like it today. Trains move with intention. You want to have intention in your life. Again, drop the word on track. Let's get you and that momentum that you already have going. Let's get it laser focused on doing the things that only you can do in this world, to make the difference that only you can make. We'll be back again together tomorrow as we continue prepping and in motion for our talk next week. And I'm here for you. Anything I can do. Till we're together again next time, I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved, and that you have a great week.